What is up, YouTube? It is me, Topher Crost, here to do another Dark Magician deck profile for you. I have not updated you guys on my Dark Magician deck in a good long time, and I do apologize, but I have been playing around with it a lot. Actually, recently I entered it in a tournament, and I went 3-2, almost 4-1. I played Pendulum Magicians, and if I wouldn't have misplayed, I would have actually come out on top in that one. Won the first round, he won the second round, and I was about to win the third round, and then I made a misplay, and it, you know, kind of screwed me over, but neither here nor there. This deck is definitely tournament ready, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. But before I do, I just wanted to say that I did recently upload a top 10 Warframes video for you guys who enjoy that game, and also that I am giving away a primed flow for the game. So if you play Warframe, please do not miss out on that. Now, without further ado, I really want to get into this deck. So let me get these out of the way. Something, if you remember correctly, or if you watched my opening videos, I did get 2 Ash Blossoms out of it. I never ended up actually paying for them because I'm not going to spend $70 on a card, but on a single card, you know. So, but yeah, I ended up getting those. But so they will be in this deck profile. This is a current up to date with the new ban list and everything like that. So without further ado, let me get us started with, of course, the main card of the deck. We're going into the monsters first. Dark Magician. I'm going to play 3 of him, obviously. I've said it a million times. He is your resource. He is, you know, pretty much what you're going to try to get out with the deck. And again, this deck is very main deck focused. I'm not very heavy into the extra deck, although I do have an extra deck. So you will definitely be pulling him out. He will be your main source of winning the game, or getting out anything you really need in this deck, triggering Dark Magic Circle, things of that nature. Next up, we have Magician of Dark Illusion. He's down to 1 right now. Sometimes I like to have him at 2. Right now he's down to 1. Basically, he's a 4th Dark Magician for your deck that also lets you revive Dark Magicians and can be special summoned if you activate spells and traps on your opponent's turn, which, if you're not familiar with Dark Magician, is pretty much all the time. that's basically how you get most of your stuff out. Next up, we have my favorite, I'm pretty sure in this game, my favorite 3-star monster now, because it's helped me out so much, Magician's Rod. So, lets you search a Dark Magician spell or trap if you normal summon it. It's just a great card to have. Of course, you're going to run it at 3. Sometimes it gets a little bricky if you also pull Blue Boy, but, you know, besides that, it's really good, and more often than not, you'll end up playing that one anyway. Next up, we have 3 Apprentice Illusion Magicians. I'll put her down here. We have 3 Apprentice Illusion Magicians, and basically what she does is, if you special summon her to the field, or if she's summoned pretty much any way to the field, you can pull a Dark Magician from your deck to your hand, and also she acts as an Honest for Dark Spellcaster type monsters, kind of, raising their attack and defense by 2,000 until the end of the battle phase, so that's pretty good. She's definitely handy. I actually don't usually end up playing her so much, as using her as her little secondary effect, but definitely want to run 3 of her to make the deck a lot more consistent. Next up, we have Blue Boy, or as you probably know him, Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Basically, to get a little draw power going, to pull your spellbook cards, to get your Spellbook of Knowledge out and draw. And then we have Ash Blossom. Obviously, you all know what Ash Blossom does. Basically, I'm going to use her to stop my opponent's plays and have a little control. A lot of the time, most of the time, I'm going to use her to stop search, so that way that they cannot search for things. So that's it for the monsters. Now, and some people play 3 Ash Blossoms. I think it's a little too bricky, especially as much search as this deck has. You want to be going through the deck like really, really fast. So I wouldn't really use 3. Alright, next we're getting into the spell cards, and first up is the most obvious spell card that everybody's going to be running in a Dark Magician deck, and that is 3 Dark Magical Circle. Basically lets you banish every time you special summon a Dark Magician, and when you play it, you get to draw 3 cards, or excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if there's a Dark Magician spell or trap or a Dark Magician, you get to put it into your hand. So that's a very good card. Of course, you want to run that at 3. Eye of Timaeus. Most competitive Dark Magician decks don't play the Eye of Timaeus. I still do, because Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, is a very effective card. He's actually how I won a majority of the games that I played. 2 of the games, actually, I used him to win, so you definitely want to run Eye of Timaeus. Next up, we have Illusion Magic to get Dark Magician into your hands. Sacrifice the Spellcaster. Dark Magic Inheritance. Dark Magic Inheritance I now have at 1. It kept breaking in my hand, so I put it down to 1. It seems to be working. Basically, you exile. I'm playing a little Magic lately, too. You banish 2 spell cards, and you get to search your deck for a Dark Magician spell or trap. And last, for just the straight up Dark Magician spells, we have Dark Magic Attack. Pretty self-explanatory. When you have a Dark Magician, you can destroy all your opponent's back row. So that's it for those. Those are not all the spell cards in the deck. Those are all the Dark Magician-based spell cards. Next up, we have the kind of control spell cards, and I'm going to kind of put them out the same. Raigeki and Dark Hole. Of course, everybody knows what those do. Just to destroy your opponent's, break your opponent's board. I've definitely needed them. A lot of situations where people, somebody's going to negate your stuff, you play something else to bait them, and then you play Raigeki or Dark Hole, and it'll take out their board. So definitely want to run that. Now we're getting to the draw power. 2 Spellbook of Secrets to get your blue boy or your knowledge from the deck, whatever one you need. And obviously I'm going to be running 2 Spellbook of Knowledge. If you run 3 of either of these, it gets kind of bricky, so I definitely kept it at 2. Once per turn effects means you got to vary up your draw power. And in the spirit of that, I'm also going to be playing Pot of Duality. Basically, let you look at the excavate top 3 cards of your deck and put 1 in your hand. Now, you cannot special summon turn and use it, so use it wisely. Upstart Goblin. And Pot of Demise. Upstart Goblin obviously lets you draw 1, your opponent gets 1,000 life points, and Pot of Demise. Pot of Desires let you banish the top 10 to draw 2. You usually only want to use it when you're stuck, but it's between that and having Allure of Darkness in the deck, and you could switch it between, but in a Dark Magician deck, when it's not very monster heavy, you won't be using Allure all the time, so I've been using Pot of Desires. Alright, and next up we are going to get into the trap cards. First up, we're going to get my favorite trap for this deck, Magician Navigation. Lets you set up your XYZ plays and gives you a negate in the graveyard. Special summon a Dark Magician from your hand, special summon level 7 or lower spellcaster type from your graveyard. Also, there's some good plays with Apprentice. And then we have Eternal Soul, perfect to use with Dark Magician. The Dragon Knight also lets you search your Dark Magic Attack and kind of protects your Dark Magicians. And then we have our 3 Solemn cards. Solemn Judgment stops pretty much anything. Solemn Warning stops a little less, but it's a little less of a cost. And Solemn Strike for those pendulums. You can switch Solemn Warning out with another Solemn Strike if you're facing pendulums, something I'd recommend doing in the side deck. Alright, and last but not least, let's get into the extra deck. And if you're wondering why I'm going so quick, it's because I've done this deck profile about 1,000 times, and if you're watching the new one, it's better if you go quick. If you want longer explanations, you're more than welcome to look through my other deck profiles. So first up, we're going to go with our fusions. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, you want to run 2. I've never had to use more than 2 a game, but it works really good with Eternal Soul and can be revived by it, so it's definitely, if you get this guy out on the field and you have Eternal Soul on the field, they're going to have a very hard time getting around him. Dark Paladin, to negate if your opponent's very spell-heavy deck and you have a lot of cards in your hand. I definitely use him when I get super dead hands where he's the only thing I can really play. So to negate some spells, and if you're playing dragons, he's pretty good. Gets that boost. And last but not least for the fusions, we have Amulet Dragon. It's really good if you're trying to get some spell cards out of your opponent's graveyard. That's pretty much the only reason I use him, and he gets really powerful. Alright, next we're going to go into our XYZs. Ebon Illusion Magician, he's going to be pretty much the one that you're using more often than not. Let you get some Dark Magicians out of your hand and get a little extra banish for that control. But if I don't use him, it's pretty much always Big Eye. Oops, excuse me, hit the camera. It's pretty much always Big Eye, take control of your opponent's monster by, getting rid of an XYZ. And we also have Red Eye's Metal Flare Dragon for those games where you swing 7,500 because you have 3 Dark Magicians on the field and you need to get that last 500. You just play that at the second main phase. Ebon High Magician, very rarely will use him, but I like having him in the deck just so I can feel secure. Lets you play traps. If you know your opponent is playing a deck with a lot of back for removal. If you want to save them in your hand, use Ebon High Magician to play them straight from your hand. Photon Strike Bouncer, when we get into our level 6 XYZs, he's pretty good if you want to negate monster effects and negate spell card effects. We have Norito, the Moral Leader. Also, Norito allows you to get into Ebon Illusion if you need him, and you have like 2 Apprentice on the field and you're kind of stuck. And last but not least, let's get into our links. Akashic Magician, I still don't know how to pronounce it. No one's ever corrected me on it when I've played it, though. Only to send some cards back to your opponent's hand. That's pretty much all that's for. I use it for. Very rarely will use her for the most part. Hopefully that new Link Magician that's coming out for the Shonen Jump will be a little better, and I might replace her. But for now, she is pretty much, you know, what I'm going to use in the deck. And she's helped me out quite a few times, actually. I didn't think she would be that great, but she's definitely helped me out. And last but not least, Link Spider. So if you're having one of those things where you just need to kind of get rid of a Dark Magician and have an extra zone ready, Link Spider is the way to go. Sometimes, if I know I can get Dark Magician Dragon Knight out in the same turn, I'll summon Link Spider, and then under it, Dark Magician Dragon Knight, so if they kill my Link Spider, I can then use my extra deck again. So I definitely still think he's probably one of the best, you know, kind of those cards to use in the deck. You know, Link monsters. But like I said, for the most part, this deck is completely main deck focused, so that was my quick deck profile of Dark Magicians. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and like I said, don't forget to watch my other videos that I've put out lately. Also, another one that might be fun for you is the Sims patch notes video. And if you guys want me to go into more depth and do this deck profile a little bit slower, because some of you are just kind of getting new to the channel, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know, and thank you guys for watching. You guys have a wonderful day. Topher Crost out.